I didn't believe this at first until I tested it on myself. I am your doctor, and after years of watching how the body changes with age, I started noticing something small that worried me more than pain ever could. Sitting down still felt easy, but standing up, that was different. It was slower, heavier, less automatic. My legs didn't feel weak exactly. They just didn't respond the way they used to. And if you're over 60, you may have felt this too. You sit for a while, then when it's time to get up, there's that little pause, that little hesitation. Maybe you push off your knees. Maybe you rock forward first. Maybe you tell yourself it's normal. But here's the truth. That moment matters more than most people realize, because the way you stand up tells you almost everything about how your body is aging. It tells you about leg strength, hip power, balance, coordination, even confidence. At first, I did what everyone says to do. Walk more, stay active, keep moving. And walking is good. It's excellent for your heart. It helps circulation. It keeps you from becoming too sedentary. But something important was missing. Walking was not rebuilding the strength I needed to rise, stabilize, and move with power. It was maintaining movement, yes, but it was not restoring the specific muscles and patterns that start disappearing after 60. That's when I realized something that changed the way I think about aging completely. If you want to stay independent, the most important movement may not be walking. It may be standing up. So I focused on one simple chair exercise. Not a full workout, not a long routine, just one movement done the right way. And what surprised me was how fast the body responded. Not because it was intense, not because it took a lot of time, but because it trained exactly what aging tends to steal first: strength, power, stability, control. In this video, I'm going to show you the one chair exercise I would choose above all others for adults over 60 if the goal is to stay strong, steady, and independent. And in one very important way, it works better than walking because it trains the exact movement your body must perform every single day. Before we continue, how old are you and where are you watching from? I read every comment you leave. Now let's get into the exercise that can change everything. It's the sit to stand. That's it. Sitting down in a chair and standing back up. It sounds almost too simple to matter, and that's exactly why so many people overlook it. But this movement is one of the most powerful things you can do after 60, because it trains your body where real life happens. Every time you get up from the couch, the toilet, the dinner table, or the edge of your bed, you are performing a sit to stand. If that movement becomes hard, life becomes hard. And if that movement becomes strong again, life becomes easier again. This is not just a leg exercise. It trains your quadriceps, your glutes, your core, your ankles, your balance system, and the timing between them. It teaches your body how to generate force, how to control your weight, and how to stabilize yourself the moment you rise. That combination is exactly what many older adults lose little by little without noticing. A large review looking at 25 studies and 1,388 older adults found that chair-based exercise programs significantly improved lower body function, including better performance on the 30-second chair stand test. In other words, this kind of movement does not just feel helpful, it measurably improves the physical function that keeps you independent. And there's more. In a recent program for adults 65 and older, just a few minutes of daily strengthening work that included chair stands led to major improvements in function after 12 weeks. Participants completed 4.2 more repetitions in the 30-second chair stand, improved one-leg balance by 3.6 seconds, and got 2.3 seconds faster at sit-to-stand performance. Think about what that really means. That means standing up becomes easier. Climbing stairs becomes easier. Recovering your balance becomes easier. Moving through your home becomes safer. And one of the biggest reasons this works so well is because sit-to-stand trains something walking often does not train enough. Power, not just strength. Power. Strength is your ability to produce force. Power is your ability to produce force quickly. After 60, that quick response starts fading. And when that happens, you don't just feel slower, you become more vulnerable. If you trip, if you turn too fast, if you need to catch yourself, your body has to react in time. That's why this one chair exercise matters so much. In one controlled trial, an 8-week sit-to-stand training program performed just 3 times per week, improved muscle quality by as much as 40 to 45%, increased relative sit-to-stand power by 29 to 38%, and even increased muscle thickness by 8 to 9%. And the sessions were short. On average, they lasted only about 2.7 minutes. That should tell you something important. You do not need hour-long workouts to get results. You need the right movement done consistently. Now let me show you how to do it the right way, because technique is everything. Start with a sturdy chair that does not slide. Sit near the front edge, not all the way back. Place your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Your knees should be bent comfortably, and your feet should be slightly behind your knees, not way out in front. This next part is where most people make the mistake. Do not try to stand straight up with your back vertical. Instead, lean your chest slightly forward, almost like you are bringing your nose over your toes. That forward lean shifts your weight where it needs to go and makes the movement much safer and stronger. From there, press through your feet and stand up. Not fast, not jerky, just controlled. Once you are fully standing, pause for a moment. Feel your hips extend, feel your legs working, then slowly lower yourself back down with control until you touch the chair lightly, and that lowering phase matters more than people think. Most people collapse back into the chair. That wastes half the benefit. When you lower slowly, your muscles work under control. That strengthens the legs through the exact phase where many people lose stability. It also improves joint control and helps train balance. So the full movement is this: lean forward, press through the feet, stand tall, pause, lower slowly. That is 1 repetition. Now here is the most important feeling to look for. You should feel the effort in your thighs, your hips, and your core. You should not feel like you are yanking yourself up with momentum. You should not feel like you are throwing your body forward. And you should not feel your knees collapsing inward. If your knees cave in, gently focus on keeping them aligned with your toes as you stand. If your feet are too far forward, bring them slightly back. If you cannot stand without using your hands, that is okay. Use the armrests or place your hands lightly on your thighs at first. The goal is not to prove anything. The goal is to rebuild the pattern. And once the pattern comes back, the strength follows. This is where people start noticing changes quickly. The first thing they often feel is not bigger muscles, it's confidence. They feel steadier getting off the sofa. They feel more secure using the bathroom. They don't brace themselves as much when standing up. And they stop dreading those small, everyday movements that quietly reveal weakness. That psychological change matters, because once people feel safer moving, they move more. And when they move more, everything improves. Now let's talk about dosage, because this is where many people either do too much too soon or not enough to make a difference. If you are just starting, begin with 2 sets of 5 repetitions. That may not sound like much, but if you do them correctly, it is enough to wake the muscles back up. If that feels manageable, progress to 2 sets of 8, then 3 sets of 8. Eventually, many adults over 60 do very well with 3 sets of 10. And if counting repetitions feels annoying, there is another simple option. Set a timer for 30 seconds and do controlled sit-to-stands for that time. Rest, then repeat. This works especially well because it trains endurance and strength together. The key is consistency. A little bit every day, or most days of the week, will beat a big workout that you quit after 5 days. Now, there are a few details that make this exercise dramatically more effective. First, do not rush the stand. People assume faster is better, but if you use momentum, your muscles do less work. Move with intention. Let the legs push you up. Second, do not crash down into the chair. The descent is where control is built. Third, do not sit too low if you are a beginner. If the chair is very low, the movement becomes much harder. Start with a slightly higher chair if needed. You can even place a cushion on the seat to reduce the distance. As you get stronger, remove the cushion. Fourth, breathe. Exhale as you stand. Inhale as you lower. It sounds small, but it helps coordinate the movement and reduces unnecessary tension. And fifth, leave your ego out of it. If you need to use your hands in the beginning, use them. If you need fewer reps, do fewer reps. If you need more rest, take more rest. The body responds to smart repetition, not forced repetition. One thing I want you to understand is this. The sit to stand is not powerful because it is flashy. It is powerful because it is honest. It shows you exactly where your body is today. And if you practice it consistently, it changes where your body will be 6 months from now. That is what makes it better than walking in one crucial way. Walking is excellent for general movement and heart health. But standing up from a chair trains the exact strength and power required for independence. Walking does not ask you to lift your body weight from a dead stop. Walking does not train the rise from sitting. Walking does not challenge that same combination of leg drive, hip extension, balance, and controlled lowering. This exercise does. And that is why it deserves your attention. If you want to make it a little more challenging after a few weeks, there are safe ways to progress. Cross your arms over your chest instead of using your hands. Pause for 2 full seconds at the top before lowering. Lower more slowly than before. Use a slightly lower chair. Add 1 or 2 reps per set, or perform the movement with perfect control for a full 30 seconds, but do not progress too quickly. Quality first, always, because 1 perfect sit to stand is worth more than 5 sloppy ones. And if you are wondering how long it takes to notice a difference, many people feel a change within the first couple of weeks. Not a miracle, not overnight transformation, but a real change. Standing feels smoother, the legs wake up faster, the body feels more responsive, and that matters. Because aging does not usually announce itself with one big event. It shows up in small hesitations, a slower rise, a harder staircase, a little more wobble, a little less confidence. That is why simple exercises like this can be life-changing. They fight back against decline at the exact point where decline often begins. So if you are over 60 and you only choose one chair exercise to start with, make it this one. Sit to stand. Simple, practical, powerful, and directly connected to your independence. You do not need a gym. You do not need expensive equipment. You do not need an hour a day. You need a chair, a few minutes, and the decision to train the movement that your future self will depend on. Try it for the next 14 days and pay attention to what changes. Notice how you get up from the couch. Notice how your legs feel after sitting. Notice whether you feel steadier in the kitchen, in the hallway, or getting out of bed. That is where progress shows up first. And once you feel it, you will understand why this one movement matters so much. If this helped you, subscribe to Wellness Daily so you never miss a video that could make a real difference in your health. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.